Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games. Finals of our F&M. Michael on Rhinos, undefeated. Going into this, Chris fighting for a prize share with Cephalid Breakfast. Couple of fetch lands to start off. Breakfast, the type of deck that can win on the second turn, but for the most part, at least the way I have it built, go off later with adequate protection. No bueno. Could mean that he's looking for a second land. That was a very quick decision. Top cards were just absolute garbage. They have in mind exactly what he needs. But at any rate, that Ponder took a look. Not good enough. Lorien revealed finding not only uncounterably searching for whatever island you need, it also fixes colors in this deck. It's an incredible printing. Haven't seen the sorcery side of it very much on camera yet, but it is a potential threat. Many decks. Here we have a Stoneforge Mystic. It's a card I am not impressed with in Cephalid Breakfast at this point. It took a long time to actually walk away from that card. Quite a lot of good stuff, but I think without running Aether Vial, the card just simply isn't strong enough. Rather run another copy. Nomad and Core very often ends up playing, as we just saw, basically being a 3-mana Shuko. Honestly, Shuko is the worst way to combo off in the deck. Sorcery speed. Vulnerable to a wider range of interaction. It's Outburst enabled thanks to Elvish Spirit Guide. That lands a couple of 4/4 Rhinos. Turn sideways. Chris, of course, can potentially combo off on this next turn. Just Cephalid Shuko. Uncontested, that will generally just win the game. Got some unfortunate cards stranded in your hand. Counterably putting in Shuko off of Stoneforge, again, is a benefit of the card, but man, is it slow. I think maybe we're looking at a Cauldron here. Kind of what this body language is indicating. Really tanking on what to do. Against up cycling another Lorien. Out Brainstorm. I do feel like the Rhinos deck makes the plays that it has available to it. Sometimes Brainstorm decks will decline to do certain things, make extra land drops, etc. Because you're potentially going to cash those cards in for different options later on. Rhinos, not as much room for debate on what the correct line is. Brazen Borrower already in Michael's hand. He has sniffed out the situation. We're gonna see a Cauldron. That Germ token has a bullseye on it. Michael is ready to get that out of there with this petty theft. Other side of Brazen Borrower, or the other half, however you want to say it. Did that open up the way for the actual combo? Let's see here. Down to just 2. It's now or never. Shuko, Cephalid. Have it or you don't. Brainstorm, yeah, he does not have it. That's going to do it. Picking up game number 1. Major difference between the breakfast list that I've been running. I really strongly believe that 4 step through is where you want to be. See, there had access to the Shuko, but wasn't able to threaten a win. Step through. find the Cephalid or, the Cephalid itself. If you could run 8 Cephalids, I suppose you would. The step-throughs do actually have the benefit of being able to find the Thassa's Oracle as well. I mean, that's not a small thing in the face of graveyard hate. Be able to grab your Thassa's Oracle and get it into play from your hand rather than having to go through the graveyard. There are plenty of games where if your opponent doesn't set a dangerous enough clock, you can just assemble everything you need and bypass all sorts of hate. Chris with the option to play. Turn 1, fetch. Very, very strong Cephalid Breakfast. I mean, the cantrips, crucial to the deck. Brainstorm is an amazing card in so many decks, but in a deck where you're running garbage like Narcomoeba and Dread Return, taking those absolute dead cards, putting them back in the library, it's like beyond being dead because they don't do anything in your hand, but they also really need to be in your library for the deck to work properly. So Brainstorm, just unbelievable premium. Of course, Ponder helps you find what you need. Sometimes a Brainstorm. Ball Therapy sees a hand with what is that? The new Tidebinder, Jana's Tidebinder, something like that. Ball Therapy looks like it's whiffing. A suspended crashing footfalls just off camera. That's why that tropical island was tapped. Trying to knock Chris back, but he finds that second land. Option was Wasteland or play another land and try and Spirit Guide out Regardless Agent. Michael really playing around days here. Indicating that he's got a Outburst in hand in all likelihood. Oh, wow. Actually, not have an Outburst. Can't. Allowed it to tick down. Interesting to see the lack of urgency on Michael's side, really holding back, keeping up a ton of mana. Now Shardless Agents down. It's a very powerful magic card, but it is 3 mana. Of course, that is a requirement for Rhinos. 3 mana or above. Like it's countering the Tidebinder. May have been a little too cutesy there. Trying to really deny the mana on the other side of the board. Establish a clock and get after them. See how this plays out. They're crashing footfalls. This one falls to Flusterstorm. think I've got to do a top 5 counterspells in Legacy. Now I'm really curious what the numbers indicate. Mostly because I don't think Mana Drain would actually be a top 10 counterspell. Even cards like Mindbreak Trap and Pact to Negation probably end up seeing more play than. Three is just so much less than 2. Urza's Saga, second land for turn. Chris. Does that error? Now the Urza's Saga shows up. It is an 8-turn clock with the Shardless Agent. Urza's Saga already indicates that that is not actually a viable path to victory. Saga itself will be able to create 2 constructs and a Shuko. Footfalls suspended just off screen. Few turns. Rhinos may to, I guess, trade with these constructs depending on how this goes. It's going to be a 4/3 if equipped with Shuko. Get one of the Rhinos off the board. Construct would just be a... But there can be more artifacts to come. This is really not how you draw up either deck. Rhinos, supposed to have Rhinos in play at this stage of the game. Cephalid Breakfast. Generally, you want to actually be comboing for the win, not presenting a eager assortment of artifacts trying to attack for lethal over several turns. But this is, at this point, just a 2-turn clock, which could go very, very wrong with even the slightest disruption from Michael, but he only has 3 cards in hand. Not looking great for him. Chris does just full send 7. Take a turn off of this 2-turn clock by chump blocking. He just has 2 turns left to live. How many counters are left on that Crashing Footfalls? That's ticking down. One more. Another Urza's Saga. That is very dangerous for this down plan. Oh, and the Rhinos aren't showing up this turn. Another Shardless Agent. Oh, and he's out of Crashing Footfalls. So sideboarding decision. Like he trimmed a Rhino. Just a 2/2 body. So that's not going to actually work out. He has to have something else, or else just making a construct pushes through lethal damage here. Right. Full send, and that'll do it. Going to game 3. So unorthodox games so far. Orion revealed. Moving the ball forward for Rhinos. And there's the Shardless Agent just jamming on the play. Very often, people will be boarding out Dazes on the draw. Let's see if Chris subscribes to that theory. Grabs a basic island. Cascade trigger here. There's a Crashing Footfalls. Looks like he's going to force. Forcing back. And a Flusterstorm. Pushes everything through. Very interesting. Solid follow-up. Now, this looks a little bit more like Cephalid Breakfast. We have an Urza's Saga. Go along with a Cephalid. Don't love leaving him vulnerable to removal like that, but it's making some plays that are on that combo axis. Haven't seen any of that this match at all. Fire Ice. Gonna take out this Cephalid. Chris, just 2 cards left in hand. Already used Force. And a Flusterstorm. Oh, his final 2 are Force of Wills. Force of Will plus blue card, and Michael's scooping it up. Interesting that Shuko went in off of the mill. I gotta say, I probably would have at least made sure my opponent didn't sideboard out one of their Shukos. But at any rate, Chris takes down the finals, earning himself a prize share in our FNM. Congrats.